Again, welcome to each of you today. Thank you all for being here together. Today is the last Monday of the month, June 26th, 2023. And as is our ritual, we review the month's theme and the highlights of our practices. The month's theme has centered around letting go to grow through 1, non-attachment, 2, non-grasping, and 3, non-envy. Your yoga invitation for today. Enjoy this month's review practice. And before we move into our asana practices, it is essential that we gift ourselves with a few moments of centering stillness. So arrive on your mat. Let the eyes close or gaze downwards softly. Let the heart be lifted. Just notice the ebb and flow of your breathing. Begin to move away from the outward and draw your attention inwardly. Receive this next deep breath, releasing this breath and release anything beyond your mat. With your very next breath, let the eyes softly open if you chose to close. Let the breath enter again to fill, and let the arms reach away from yourself. Begin rising upwards through the fingertips. Make this big circle. Turn the palms away from your body and let the arms circle all the way back down. Let's do a couple more of these beautiful connecting circle breaths. We begin to notice how breath and body dance together. How something begins to shift inwardly. And this very next time, when you come into this, reaching all the way up, let's even gaze upwards now. And let the palms, fingers, thumbs touch high above us. And let the thumbs draw softly to your heart center. One breath in this moment. And we'll begin warming through the spine. Begin the arms to reach away. They circle up again. Let's let the elbows bend and touch the opposite elbows with our hands high above us. So this is a ragdoll arm, but the arms are above our head. You can rest the forearms on the head if that's appropriate or right for you, or let them lift away. Just going to do some circles to warm up the spine here. Receiving breath. Begin releasing breath, and just let the body reach over to the right. Elbows are kind of leading the circle. So bow forward, bring the left elbow down, the right elbow up, and come back up to center. Just play into this circular motion. We warm the body to prepare ourselves for what we will be doing later on in our yoga practice. Do one more circle in this direction, please. As we come back to that center together, we just pause in that stillness, receive a breath. Let's release this breath and start your circle the opposite way. Torso moves over to your left. Left elbow comes down, right elbow reaches up. Bow the body, and then you switch the elbows. So the right elbow comes down, the left elbow rises up as we join back into our center. Continue in this pattern. Letting go to grow. We'll review how non-attachment can help us to grow as we warm our body here. So then we'll do one more circle in this direction. A little deeper breathing. Yeah. We come back, we pause in that center. We soften the hands, we open the arms. We circle the arms down, we bring the palms onto the thighs and the knee area. Receive the next breath. Reach out just your left arm, please, and then rise it up. Start to reach your right arm away from your body. As the right arm reaches away, the left arm continues to rise and reach over to the right side. Notice if it serves your practice to keep the right arm straight or to softly bend the elbow and let the forearm start to rest on the mat. Notice if it serves your practice to gaze forward or to turn your gaze over to the left side. One more breath. Come back up to that center. Start to lift the body. Start to lift that right arm. Reach both arms up high, high above you. The releasing breath. Now the left arm comes down. Feel the fingers or palm touch the mat. Reach up again through the right arm and then begin to reach over to the left side. So become sensitive to where you might be holding on to something that would be considered an attachment with yoga. One more deep breath. Just be sensitive to what that might be. And then we rise up together. We feel the lifting. We lift up the left arm. We open both arms out to that big wingspan. Palms turn down, twist. Left arm circles in front of our body, comes over to the right leg. The right arm reaches around, softly touches behind us. Gaze over the right shoulder. Let's receive a breath together. Release the deep breath. Turn into the twist. And then lifting of that right arm up to the shoulder height, the wingspan. We circle all the way back, both arms again, open out wide, palms up, receive and reach up through the fingertips. The releasing breath, arms back to the wingspan, Turn the torso to the left. The right arm moves circles in front of the body. Anything you're holding on to here, continue to move into your seated twist. Continue to breathe into the sensations this practice is giving your body. And we'll rise back up with that left arm, and we'll all come back into the center, big wide wingspans. Circle the arms behind us now. Yogi's choice. Reverse ragdoll arms, just hold an opposite forearm or fingers interlace, palms touch, whatever works for you. Focus on opening through the front body. Shoulder blades release down. Even let the shoulder blades start to kiss your spine. Feel the presence of breath opening into the front body. One more breath, yeah. And releasing breath. The arms slowly release down. They reach out. And then circle the arms forward, please. Turn the palms to face each other. Thumbs straight up. Torso lifted. Sit bones grounding. Release the breath. Reach through the fingertips. Start the hip hinge. Keep the sit bones grounded, please. Keep the fingertips reaching. Feel when that delicious moment enters the stretch, when the sit bones ground down and the hips are hinging and you get that one more degree of reach. You're not attached to how far you can go. You're just moving and breathing to these healthy edges. Release the hands, release the arms, release the head. And again, notice what serves your body best. Arms lifted and straight or elbows softly bent, forearms down. One more breath. What might you be able to let go here? We'll rise. We receive. We begin to lift the body up. We slowly let the hands walk in towards the body. We let the fingertips just touch the mat outside our body. We feel this uplifted posture. We notice some energetic movements beginning to stir within us. We release the next breath and we transition to tabletop. In our tabletop, we're going to flow through just a couple rounds of our cat-cow, some call it. I like spinal wave. Let's release the breath and let the tailbone really tuck under. Draw the navel in, Mula Bandha, and feel how that core helps to lift the back body up and the head bow down. Turn it around. You start to lift through the tailbone. You start to lift through the crown of your head. One more, flow into it. So we're noticing where we hold on to things as an attachment and how maybe we can begin to let go of some of these things that no longer serve us on the mat and perhaps even off the mat. Come back to center. Slowly tuck the toes. Let the hips reach back towards the heels. Hover the knees, please. Just pause here. Just feel the knees hovering. This strength, this igniting. Receive the next breath and slowly let the legs halfway stretch out to dreamy downward dog. Knees stay bent. Arms reach the body back a little closer towards your thighs. Receive a next breath. Let the legs stretch out. Transition to downward dog. And then walk your dog today. Let the heels rise and lower. Let the breath move as you lift the heels. Release the heels. Together, rise the heels up high. Lift, lift, even one more lift if it's available. Don't be attached to having to do it. Just notice the invitation, if it serves you. And release the breath. Let's release the heels down together. Here we go. We're going to go to low lunge. Left leg steps forward. Whether you go to tabletop or split dog, arrive together. Left leg forward, the right knee comes down because it's low lunge. The arms reach back. Airplane arms. Turn the palms to face each other. Spread the fingers wide. Draw the collarbones outwards. Release the arms. Release them and then reach away. As you did in the warming, keep reaching to the fingertips and then rise them up. Lift up. Sink the hips down. And here we go. Next breath, we transition to the high crescent. We tuck the toes under. We feel the core energy engaging and we lift that right leg away from the mat. Center and still into your high crescent lunge. Releasing the next breath, we're going to open to warrior two. The right arm circles forward. The right heel spins down. The arms open together. And the gaze is proudly over your left fingertips. Receive a breath. Release the breath. Arrive fully. Warrior two. Yes. Transition towards side angle. Ready to release the next breath. You reach through the left fingertips. You bend the left elbow today. Turn the palm up. Just breeze the forearm on the left thigh. Yogi's choice. Where does that right arm want to continue into the practice? Breathe into it. When we're attached to a goal, we miss many moments of the journey along the way. So we're going to play with breath and be sensitive to what we might be holding on to and maybe begin to let go. Ready to go back to warrior two? Receive a new breath. Let the body lift away from the thigh. Let the arms reopen outwards together. Gaze again over those left fingertips. This reaching outwards, this grounding downwards, and always with a lifted heart. Transition to plank. Breath. The right palm and arm lift up. Reach and circle the right arm forward. Spin onto the ball of the right foot. Just pause there. You're in high crescent with both arms reaching forward. Release the breath. Let the hips hinge you. Feel the chest moving towards your thigh. Get stronger through the right leg and bring those palms down. Step the left leg back and plank. As we release the next breath, let the knees softly come down. Tops of the feet come down. Elbows bend. We're coming down to our belly. Here we go. Belly comes down. Cobra. Lift through the crown of your head. Please keep the chin tucking in. Shoulder blades drawing down. Releasing breath. Slowly lower your body back down. Transition back to downward dog. Tabletop, or just reach the heels, hips back to heels and rise, or just plank to tabletop. Whatever works best for you. We're back together. Downward facing dog. One more breath. And let's transition that sequence to the opposite side. Receiving breath. Now the right leg is going to step forward to the low lunge. Yogi's choice. Transition. Release the breath. Reach the arms back. Airplane arms. Here we go. Transition again. Circle the arms down. Reach the arms forward and rise up. Lift up. Can you gaze upwards now? Can you let the hips sink you down a little deeper? Just all invitations for what serves you. Don't be attached to any goal that you think you've got to do. Here we go. We're going to transition to the high crescent lunge with strength and energy. Receive, tuck the back toes under, start to lift that back knee up, start to rise your torso up, reach up the fingers, sink down to the hips. Beautiful. Transition, warrior two. Left arm circles forward. It circles down. We spin down on the left foot. We reopen both arms out wide. We gaze over those right fingertips. Receive. Would you be grasping for anything right now? Yeah, you grasping for anything you might not feel comfortable with right now? Let that go. Transition, side angle. As you release the breath, the right fingertips reach away from the body. The right side comes towards the top of the right thigh. We bend the right elbow today. We just breeze the forearm on the thigh. Yogi's choice, where that left arm reaches, or just hand to hip. We come home in every pose and posture with yoga. If we're not home, we're striving, we're reaching, we have an attachment, we're grasping. There's something else going on. Come home, let those things go. Trust. Ready? Let's go back together, warrior two. The left arm starts to circle down. The right arm starts to rise up. We gaze out over those right fingertips. We come home here. Be grateful for what you do have. That's a very big yoga skill in learning to let go of other things, these attachments, these graspings, and release. Windmill down to plank. Left arm reaches up and circles down. Left heel spins up. Reach out the fingers. Just to come home in the transitioning as well. And then plant the palms down. Step that right leg back. Here we go. Plank. Modify. So bring the knees down. The tops of the feet down. The elbows start to bend. The belly comes down. Onto the belly. Transition to cobra. Pressing the tops of the feet so the knees lift away. Draw those shoulder blades down. Tuck the chin inwards and rise through the crown of your head. Together, slowly come back down and transition. Downward facing dog. Couple of deep breaths in downward dog. And here we go. We're ready to begin another sequence. Remember to stay focused on letting go of things that we might feel we're attached to, or things that we might be grasping for, and then turn it around to be grateful for what we do have. Together, receiving breath. The left leg is going to step forward, this time to the high lunge. How does that serve you today? Come home here. Just wiggle the fingertips away from your mat. So you know your whole body is in skill. And then receive the next breath. Now we're going to rise up to high crescent lunge. The arms reach back, airplane arms. Circle the arms down. Start to reach the arms forward. Start to rise the body up. Lift through the fingertips. Sink down through the hips. High crescent lunge. Open again to warrior two. So the right arm reaches and circles forward. The right heel spins down. We open both arms again wide. We gaze proudly over those left fingertips. Breathe. Come home. Reverse or peaceful warrior. The right arm peacefully comes down to touch the back of your right leg. Just let it touch. Or option, maybe you bend that right elbow and you just let the right forearm slide across your lower back. Play, explore, breathe. Let go any grasping or attachments, and then be grateful for what you do have. Next breath, transition back to the warrior two. Wherever your choice was for the peaceful warrior, we're back together, warrior two, and we stretch that left leg out. Prepare for triangle. Reach again through those left fingertips, just like we did for side angle. But now the legs are straight and strong. Notice where your reach invites you. When the legs are nice and straight and strong and steady together, you start to release that left arm down. You start to slowly let the right arm transition. Hand might rest on hip. Hand and arm might reach upwards. The arm might begin to reach over towards the right ear. Where can you come home here? Are you home? Is there some grasping? Is there an attachment? Attachments usually come from the thought process. Oh, I got to do this, or I can never do this. Whatever it is, just to notice it. Be sensitive to it. Receive one more breath. And then very gently, we come back into that warrior two. So we rise up. We bend that left knee. We arrive back, warrior two. Transition back to plank. The right arm and I lift up. The right heel lifts up. Spin on the right foot. Reach through both arms and fingers. Here, feel them reach. And then reach again as the hips hinge you. And feel that reaching. Continue reaching. Now allow the palms to touch your mat. Once again, step back, but this time go right to downward dog. Whether you do split dog first or just downward facing dog. One more breath. And then we're going to do a little twisting in the downward dog here. So lift your heels, pivot on the balls of the feet over to the left side of your mat. So you're coming to the outer edge of your left foot, the inner edge of your right foot. This is going to serve you when we do our side plank in just a little bit. Rise the heels back up. Flow through center. Release the next breath. Pivot again on the balls of the feet. Heels over to the right side. Outer right edge of the foot. Inner edge of the left foot. Get the right leg strong. Receive. Back to center. Now flow. Release. Over to the left. Receive. Rise to the center. Release. Over to the right. And back into our center. One more breath. And we transition into that sequence for the opposite side. With our breath, we begin to transition to our high lunge, right leg stepping forward. We begin to reach the arms back together. Notice when the shoulder blades draw down, when the collarbones broaden out. And then notice when the fingers just want to separate and stretch from away from each other. Circle the arms down freely. Let them reach forward. Feel the reach. And then rise up. Here we go again. Your high crescent lunge. Release the breath. Return to your warrior two. Circle the left arm down. Spin the left heel down. Open the arms out together. Gaze outwards over those right fingertips. Receive your breath. Release. Come home. And then peaceful warrior. Right palm and arm rise up. The left arm comes down towards the back of the left leg, or you might be playing and exploring into your practice today. You might bend the elbow and let the forearm slide across your back body. Tuck your tailbone. Keep that right knee pointing out towards the little pinky toes. Here we go. Come back through warrior two. Transition with ease. Reach away, power down. Reach out through that right leg. Here comes your triangle. Strong and steady through the lower body. Reach again away from your body through the right fingertips. Feel the movement. Notice those healthy edges. Anytime you want to pause and explore into any moment of your practice, give yourself that permission. Let go of the have-tos and the goals. And then that left hand might rest on the hip. The left arm might reach a little bit upwards. The left arm might begin to reach over towards the left ear. We're going to breathe one more deep breath. Let it go. Ah, beautiful. Rise back up. Lift the body. Bend that right knee. Go one more breath deep into warrior two. Spiritual warriors. Windmill down. Left arm rises up. The right arm circles down. We pick up that left heel. Spin entirely on the left foot. And then let both arms reach away from your body. Feel the reaching. Hips hinge again. So that back leg gets really strong. Hips hinge you freely. Chest moving towards the top of your right thigh. Palms softly come down together. Step back, downward facing dog. And then we do that little twist again. So the heels are going to rise up together. This time go over to the right side first. Spin on the balls of the feet. Here we go. Back to our center. Over to the left side. Back to center. Over to the right. Last time. Breathe. And breath. As we come back into our center, we're going to slowly let the knees softly bend, come down to the mat. Tops of the feet down, transition for a few breaths in child's pose. Whether you want the knees hip width apart, or if you want the knees wide, just transition. Let child's pose offer you the gift of truly letting go. You don't need the strength, you don't need the balance, you don't need the confidence of getting into some of these practices. Let all of that go right now. Just breathe in child's pose. This next breath is going to move our bodies again. We receive the breath. We begin to lift the body away from our thighs. We begin to transition into tabletop. We tuck the toes under. We're going to downward dog. Hips reach back to the heels. Again, we want to hover the knees. We want to explore into the movements, not the ending. We let the hips rise up. We let the arms reach our body back. We're going to go into high crescent lunge. Once again, left leg is going to step forward. Move into this. Go to the airplane arms first, please, so that you can feel how those collarbones broaden, the shoulder blades draw down, the arms get engaged, and then let them freely go. Let them go. Reach up, rise up into your highest crescent lunge. We're going to open into a twist here. Let's release a breath. Circle the right arm forward. When the right arm circles down, start to lift the right arm up behind you. Open both arms out wide and see if you can gaze over towards the right fingers. Center, still, breath. Circle that right arm down. Slowly let the gaze follow back. Here we go. Both arms reach forward and then prayer twist. Palms touch, fingers touch, thumbs touch. Let the thumbs softly touch the heart. Bow forward. When you bow forward, slowly let your torso turn over to the left side. Ignite that right leg again. Get it strong. And then your right elbow. It may come to the inside, on top, or outer edge of your left leg. You're going to breathe and turn. Breathe and turn. Keep the palms pressing together. Let Mula Bandha keep the core strong and steady. One more breath. Beautiful. Let the forearms start to draw back to each other. Slowly lift the torso back to the upright position. Reach the arms forward. Let the hands softly come down. Done this several times, so hopefully you got it all together. Step back to plank. From plank, we're going to go into a modified side plank. As we did in downward dog, spin onto the balls of your feet over to the right side. Pick up the left foot, step it behind the right foot. You got it? And then transition. Here we go. Slowly start to lift the left hand onto the left hip. And maybe it lifts, maybe it doesn't. About one more breath. We got this. Circle the left arm down. Return back to your plank. And downward facing dog. One or two breaths. Here we go. With the next breath, we move again. Let go of grasping, let go of attachments, and just flow. Breathe. The right leg begins to step forward to high lunge. Feel the high lunge. And then the airplane arms. Transition into your airplane arms. Circle the arms forward. Lift the torso. Come home here again. Arrive. Be present. Open into the twist. The left arm starts to circle out to the left side. Keep that right knee over towards the right pinky toe so it stays strong. Open the arms and then see if you can gaze over to the left fingers. One more breath. Circle slowly the left arm back. Let the eyes slowly gaze and follow all the way back. Here we go. Reaching out through the fingers. Palms, fingers, thumbs touch. Thumbs draw to the heart center. Prayer twist. Start to hip hinge. Bow your body towards the top of your right thigh. Then turn your body lightly over to the right side. Start to move that left elbow to the inner side of the right thigh, on top or outer edge. Breathe, turn, move, connect. When you're home, there's no grasping for anything other than what you have, because you're grateful for what you do have. You're not attached to anything outside because you're complete inside. Together, go back to the center. Slowly come back into the center and prepare for plank to side plank. Arms reach forward, hips hinge, palms frame the right foot. We step back that right leg into plank. We start to pivot on the balls of the feet. We pick up the right foot. It steps behind the left foot. We transition. We open the front body. We begin to bring that right hand to the hip or upwards towards the sky. One more breath. And then we slowly transition back. The right arm circles down. Plant the right palm down. Come back to plank and, downward facing dog. Come back home, downward dog. One more breath. And then we slowly start to soften the knees so we can walk our toes towards our hands. Take that little walking meditation mindfully. Connecting with breath. When the toes are towards the top edge of your mat, forward fold. Knees soften, or the legs a little straighter. Fingers to the outsides of the feet. Or maybe you're doing ragdoll arms behind the knees. Or holding on to the back of the ankles with your hands. Let go. Grow. Without attachment or grasping. Yeah. And then let's half lift. Give our spine that reprieve to lengthen. Feel the spine lengthening. Bow forward once again. Bow forward. Let the fold take its shape with your body. Don't let your expectations or any of competition or judgments create the shape. Let it go and see where your body wants to take this shape. Softly and slowly bend the knees, reach the arms outwards, rise the body all the way up, upward salute. Lift up through the fingertips. Even reach back lightly if that serves you well. So now we just review a little bit of how we can let go of any envy in yoga. The root of envy is low self-esteem. And low self-esteem is by outward comparisons. So once again, inwardly we are complete. We appreciate what we have. And then there's no outwardly envy. Softly and slowly. Open the arms out. Hip hinge. Forward fold. Journey into it. Journey into it. Breathe into it. We're reviewing the whole month now How have we let go of attachments, graspings, or any envy? How has our yoga practice served us to grow? Softly, we bend the knees. Take a ragdoll forward fold. Knees bend. Feel the hips start to drop down. They just settle down. Reach the arms forward. Clasp the opposite elbows with your hands. Let the head be framed inside the arms. And then let the elbows free in front of you. Let the arms swing free from side to side. One more, freedom flow. Back to the center. Softly plant the fingertips down. And then we're going to widen the feet. So pick up the toes, spin on the heels, widen the toes out, pick up the heels, bring them down. One more. So your toes are to the outer edges of your mat. Toes out, heels in. Now let the hips sink down. We're going to transition to boat in this playful way. As the hips sink down, stay strong in the lower body so you can reach the arms forward. Keep the hips sinking down. Keep the arms reaching forward. Keep the hips sinking down. Keep the arms reaching forward. And then trust. And let the hips come down. Let the legs lift up and come into boat. You might bend the knees and just have the fingertips underneath the knees for a little support here. You might have the legs halfway lifted so the calves are parallel to the mat. Toes up. Can you even separate the toes? Let's play with both here. Release the breath. Just bend the right knee and draw it in towards your chest. Reach out the right leg. Bend the left knee. Draw the left thigh in towards your chest. Reach it up. One more. Draw the thigh in. Reach it away. Draw the thigh in. Reach it away. Boat. Keep your heart lifted. And then very gently bend the knees. Bring the hands behind the knees. Lift the knees up. You can keep the feet floating here. Or you could keep the feet onto your mat, but start to give yourself a little hug. Start to hug. Hug thighs close to chest. Hug in. And then we plant the feet down if they were lifted. And we begin to transition to supine. So this month, we've always started in Dandasana first. So we got to review that. Not gotta. What am I saying? We're reviewing Dandasana and transitioning into supine pose. The legs are stretched out. The toes are lifted up. The torso is staying strong with the uplifted posture. The shoulder blades relax down. Begin to release the breath. Mula Bandha. Arms reach forward. Chin tucks in. And you start to lower yourself down. There'll be moments where you just kind of collapse a little bit. And if it takes you all the way down, you stay there. Or you just come back and keep going into the journey. But when your back body has rested onto your mat, then you bend the knees. You press into the soles of the feet. Hover the hips this time. Tuck the tailbone towards the heels. Lower the hips all the way back down. Receive the next breath. Just pick up the right foot. Use both hands and hug the right thigh in. Now lift up the left foot and stretch the left leg out. Toes lift up. So the left leg stays hovering. unless it serves your body better, just to stretch it out onto the mat. And then we switch. We release the breath. We start to bend the left knee. We start to reach out the right leg. Use both hands on the left leg to hug it in and reach out the right leg. 1 or 2 more flows. Letting go of envy means letting go of competition, expectations, and judgment. And once again, to be grateful for what we do have from the inside. And we'll all come back into the center with both knees bent now, please. Hug both thighs towards the chest or both knees towards the armpits. And softly we come back into center. Thighs and feet hip width apart, releasing of the hands. Slowly lowering the feet down. We're going into windshield wipe twist. So again, we're going to start to scissor walk our feet out to the long, wide edges of our mat. Toes out, heels in. Knees stay wide. Arms stay wide in wingspan, or they softly bend elbows into the sun god. We're going to just do one knee down and then we'll bring them together. So receive a breath here. Feel the presence. Begin releasing the breath. Just release the right knee over to the right. And then bring it back up to center, please. Again, releasing of a deep breath. Release the right knee over to the right side. Bring it right back up into center. Last time for the single knee. Release just the right knee. What shifts? Where do the inner movements get your attention? Where does the breath move? Come back to the center. We're ready. Receive a deep breath in center. Releasing breath. Both knees release together over to the right. Yogi's choice. Head stays center or turning of the head the opposite direction of the knees. Explore into your pose here with breath. Invite breath to become your teacher. Where can the breath move freely in this shape? Where might you notice a little bit of closure, tightening? Are you attached to anything that you can let go of? Would there be a grasping? Is there anything we're envious of out there? One more breath. Let's come back to center. Slowly begin. Lift the left knee back up, followed by the right knee. Head to center if you turned it. Receive a deep breath in center. Feet still wide, knees still wide. Release the breath. Just the left knee releases over towards the left. Come back into your center. Again, the breath is released as the left knee releases over to the left. It comes back into your center. Last one. Release a breath. Left knee releasing, releasing, releasing. And returning into center. Ready for both. A deepened breath. A releasing breath as both knees release over to the left. Keep the journey flowing, moving. Finding those healthy edges, pausing if you need, exploring if you choose. Head, remember, it's yogi's choice. It stays center or it starts to slowly turn to the opposite side. One more full deep breath. Then we come back to center. The right knee lifts. The left knee begins to lift. Head's in center. Scissor walk the feet. Bring the arms down by the sides. Hover the hips. Tuck the tailbone. Lower the hips down. Give yourself that wonderful little hug with the rolling from hip bone to hip bone. We have explored into how yoga helps to remind us of letting go of these outwardly things and being grateful inwardly for what we do have. And that's how we grow. Back into center. And then we begin to slowly elevate both legs together with or without support. And we pause. We thank our body for what is available in movement. We reflect, letting go to grow. Next breath, we'll slowly transition to Shavasana, or yogi's choice to keep the legs elevated. Please do so. Shavasana. This gifted pose of rest and restoring. Our Shavasana reading today comes from Jack Kornfield, a modern-day writer, teacher of Buddhism and mindfulness meditation. To let go does not mean to get rid of. To let go means to let be. When we let be with compassion, things come and go on their own. gently draw your awareness to that place between your eyebrows, expanding that awareness into your space and wiggling through your toes, ankles, fingers, and wrists. And we softly place the left palm at our heart center, right palm at our navel, and nourishing of our body with several deep, deep breaths. We invite our next breath to awaken us as we give our body an awakening stretch. And from this stretch, we bend our knees to turn all the way onto our right side. And begin to rise into our seated pose. In our seated poses with Anjali Mudra, we begin to bow forward and thanking our body for the movements available for us today, and thanking ourselves for showing up on our mat today. We rise together. And in closing today, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. Thank each of you today for joining together. Please unmute yourselves and say goodbye to your fellow yogis.